Today's video, we're going to talk about, should I add competitors as negative keywords in my ad account on Google or Microsoft or Bing if you want to talk about that. Here's how to tell for your specific market, because this is going to vary completely on the market or niche that you're in. Okay? Some markets it's extremely profitable, and others you're going to just drain your bank account slowly but surely, not adding competitors as negative keywords to your account. Okay? So you can actually not target your competitors' keywords and just get flooded, absolutely flooded by Google. People are searching for your competitors, triggering your ads, and ultimately now you're paying for somebody to click on your ad, call, realize you're not the competitor, and you just pissed your money away as a result. And for that matter, it usually happens when you use phrase match and broad match keywords, set up exact match keywords itself, or broad match if you want to go that route with it. But certainly it doesn't really happen with exact match keywords regardless of what market you're in. So therefore, you will typically want to use exact match to completely stomp out any actual competitor searches from triggering your ads. That is, unless you're in a market where it would make sense and you can make a whole pile of money, not actually just not avoiding the competitor terms, but actively going after them. I've had videos where I've talked about how you can go after competitor terms, which I'm going to rehash that information here if you're in a market where it is profitable to go after those terms, specifically, which a lot of it has to do with you target those terms with a compelling message of why you're better than the competition and then tracking everything well. So when somebody clicks through, they buy, you actually use that to make the campaign better. But I'm going to go into other micro details in regards to this. And more importantly, like the topic of the video says, when you should specifically do it, when you should specifically not. Okay? So before I get into the content though, if you do not know who I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability, basically in excess of the management fees that we charge. We are the only agency out there which offers any kind of similar guarantee, which should tell you something about the quality of the information that you're receiving on this particular video. So getting into the content. All right, so I've got this very beautiful diagram that I've drew up here. And for that matter, what this basically does, it's like a flow chart. It has a couple questions that you can ask yourself as to determine whether you should add the competitor search terms that come through your search terms report as negative keywords to your account, to avoid the competitor searches from triggering your ads, or where you just want to let it ride and have your competitor searches trigger your ads because those people are profitable too. So for that matter, what these two questions are, first off is, do customers often ask for their order status versus requesting new business? Okay, so in other words, is the typical call that your competitor is going to get going to be about new business that they want to do business with them with, or is it mostly people asking about an order status? An example market here, in the pest control space, going after competitor terms doesn't make sense. Why? Because people call their pest control company after they sign up a lot. And the ratio of calls where people are asking to get somebody out again / ask about their order status, generally speaking, is very much high compared to people calling for the first time. Now, that said, it's close. If somebody's going to call the order again, you could get those people as well as people who have never done business with them with the blind ad method that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But generally speaking, it's not profitable to go after the competitors because most of that stuff's done on a subscription and people are calling about their subscription. So therefore, even if you were to accidentally get them to call you, you're not going to get anything out of it because they're already doing business with the competitor. They're locked into the competitor. Therefore, it's not profitable. On the flip side, you could have a market like AC installation and repair services. A lot of people get referrals and they'll search for that company and you can get in front of them and get those people when they call, just not realize you're them, and then they do business with you itself, and that's quite profitable itself. And that's a market where it actually is profitable for the most part, at least when you're talking about the installation where, a job's $5,000 a job versus a $50 job, and you can go after it and it makes sense and it's profitable. And for that matter, because generally speaking, when get a new air conditioning unit, wham, bam, it's done. It's not like getting a roof on your house where you're going to have to do a lot of interaction with that roofing company before, during, and after it's done that have nothing to do with signing up. So the ratio of calls that you get for the AC installation is going to almost be 100% people asking about it for the first time versus asking about an order status itself. Not all. Now, it's all in the details as to know whether that's going to be on the side of profitability for you versus not. The model that I have to determine whether or not, when we have a brand new client at our firm, as to whether we're going to add competitors as negative keywords or not, is the following. If 80% of the people are going to be asking for their order status or greater, I am not going to target the competitor terms at all because it's probably not going to be profitable. If it's 50-50, yes, I will target them because I can get a lot of business that way, so to say. And for that matter, though, what I generally do, just so that you know, in terms of campaign structure, I will add the negative keywords, the competitors' names. I'll add those as negative keywords anyway, even though I want to show up for the competitor searches, so I can have a dedicated standalone campaign that targets the competitor terms. Why? Because they're going to convert much differently than other keywords that I have that are not competitor searches. And I want to scale that up separately, given it'll convert differently, and I can put tighter reins around it. Whereas I go pretty much unlimited in terms of the budget on the non-competitor keywords that I'm targeting. And I'll go limited on the competitor campaign until I have enough conversion data for Google to really make the campaign profitable for myself, just so that you know as a side here. If more than 80% of the people you think calling your competitor are going to be calling about an order status, making a payment, bitching about something, whatever, don't do it. Okay? And then for that matter, if you are going to do it, if you are going to let the thereof not add the competitor names as negative keywords, and you want to let it ride, you do want to show up for the competitor searches, there's two kind of categories that traffic is going to fall into. Either immediate need or non-immediate need. Okay? What I mean by that is, if it is immediate need, it's something like, my air conditioning's broken, I need to get it fixed right away. And the approach that you take with that, in my opinion, in terms of in the gray area of ethics, you have a blind ad and a blind landing page. And that's why I also want to have a separate campaign that just targets the competitor terms, because if somebody types in Johnson's AC installation, what I want to do is basically trick the person into thinking I'm Johnson's AC installation, because that will get me the most leads for the dollar than I can just say we are another company, right? A lot more. And so you don't lie to people and say you're Johnson's. That's not what I'm saying here, because that would be what we are doing is we're having an ad that says Installation Services official site. So that is a little bit misleading, but it's going to get a bunch of clicks. They're going to go to a landing page with similar color scheme as my competitor. We're not going to use their logo. We're not going to use the same exact styling. Maybe just if the other company has blue and white as their color scheme, we're going to have a blue and white page. That's as far as I'll take it ethically. But for the most part, it's enough to get a shitload of people thinking we're that other company that will turn into a lead. And then on top of it, we use CallRail for call tracking at our firm all the time. You can have it so that a certain campaign triggers a certain whisper message on the phone call when it comes in. And you can train your sales staff to answer the phone in a certain way when one of these competitor calls come in. So with that, a call whisper is a message that plays before the call is connected for the salesperson, so they know where a call came from. And so in this case, it'll say competitor call, then it'll put you to the caller. And when you answer the phone, instead of saying name of your company is Peter's AC installation, you don't say Peter's, well, how can I help you? You say AC installation services, how can I help you? And so you're not lying again, but you're also not giving it away that you're a different company than what they initially intended to call. So you can get the sale ultimately. And in my opinion, yes, it might be a little bit sketchy to do this, but if you offer a better service to them at a better price, the customer still wins. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, anything you do to help the customer get a better experience that's not going to, violate criminal law or trademark law doing it, it's fair game. And it makes the market a better place. Yes, it might piss off the competitors slightly. Who gives a shit about that? business is war. We're not all here to get along and you can have some customers, I can have some. Yeah. We'll do business together. No, this is you kill your competition. Google Ads is about, 80% of the business goes to 20% of the guys. And you're either going to be in that 20% because you're ruthless about what you're doing or you're not. There's no, let's try to do business together and we can all make money, because Google's not set the system up like this. They've set it up for the top guys to make it all. And that's how it's been for a few years now with their ad rank system and everything else. So there's that. And then you have the non-immediate need. This is mainly why when we're talking about e-commerce. So if we sell a toolbox, okay, and we want people that when they're searching for our competitors' toolboxes, our ads to show up, because we've identified know that less than 80% of the traffic is not going to be calling about an order status or something like that. So we'll go after that traffic. Therefore, not add that competitor name as a negative keyword. We're going to have on our ad, okay, for this particular approach, why we're specifically better. Okay? Our product is twice as fast, at half the price. Click here. And our landing page backs that up right away in the headline of the page. So we have to have a dedicated page to send them to. If you want to monetize these competitor clicks appropriately, that's how you do it. Why? Because ultimately, what's the reason for the user to click on your ad if they were searching for XYZ product and you're not that? There is no value to the user. You have to create that value for the user, and you do it by understanding competitor by competitor why you're better, and then mentioning that in your ad and your landing pages. If you do this, it'll get a ton of sales. But you have to get off your lazy butt and actually put this stuff together, competitor by competitor, to make it happen, because this is what is going to help the user out and therefore help you make more money. People want to do the bare minimum to get more customers and then complain when they don't get more customers. Either you provide more value to the user than the people advertising now on Google, or you don't make any money. It's really that simple nowadays. You get higher click-through rates than your competition, higher conversion rates than your competition. Otherwise, Google doesn't want to send you any more traffic than they can, and they don't want to give you a good rate on it because they already got somebody who they can already send the traffic to, and that's it already. So you have to provide more, or they aren't incentivized to help you make any more money. With that said, okay, now, if you do that, as I just described, the good thing about, actually making a map in a spreadsheet of every single competitor you have and why you're specifically better than each one, and putting an ad and a landing page combination together for each competitor. Yes, it's a lot of work to get the sales from the competitor traffic, but you can use basically all of it to run a YouTube campaign targeting all the people who've been to your competitor's website through custom intent audiences. You can set up demand gen campaigns targeting the same custom intent audiences. You can run a Google display campaign targeting the same custom intent audiences. So you can blast them everywhere else they go online, essentially, and which YouTube and demand gen are, generally speaking, more successful than display campaigns, because display campaigns have a lot of bot traffic, and you got to really know what you're doing with that and watch my other videos. Running display campaigns to actually get it to work, because it's certain websites and there's certain things you got to do with it. But with that said, you can literally have it to where you can tell Google, if this person went to this particular product page on this particular website, I want to target them with my ads that say why I'm better. You can do this with custom intent audiences just by putting the custom URL to that exact competitor product page in your custom intent audience when you define it. And so therefore, you create the funnel for each competitor on Google search. You can reuse the hell out of it in these other places, and you can make 3 times, 4 or 5 times as much as you're making from the Google search ads, pounding them on YouTube, pounding them on, through the demand gen campaigns which run on Gmail and YouTube. Why? Because, people that are in market for your competitor's product, how much more targeted does it get than that? Now you got to just be able to get their attention. Well, when you actually do the work to say why you're better than each one on an individual competitor by competitor basis, now you can make some serious money, because you're coming to the market with something, your product isn't any better than it was. You're just educating the market better, and therefore you get more money. So there's that. Now, the other question you may ask yourself as to whether or not you want to add your competitor keywords as negative keywords in your account is, customers buy more often than once. Because if they buy often from that competitor, you can actually spend a lot of times a whole hell of a lot to get that person to switch over to you that you can then put in your ad copy to make your ad copy compelling enough to actually get them to click on your ad and do business with you. So the equation of this is first of all, you find out what the value of your competitor's customer will be, which you may not be able to tell, but you can find the value of your own customers, and then you can drive and go that route with it. Or you could just understand, depending on that competitor, how successful they are as a company, what their customers are spending over time. But when you have that lifetime value of a customer figured out, subtract that from the new customer special offer that you want to offer them to get them as a customer, and then you can have a profit ultimately. So if you know that you're running a day spa and the average customer comes in an average of 11 times over their lifespan, and they spend an average of $250 every time that they come in. So therefore they're worth right around $3,000 in terms of lifetime value and that you're going to get from them. Well, even with all your expenses considered, you could spend $300 to get a customer like that to come through your door. So therefore, you can literally give them $300 to switch ships, switch over to you specifically. Assuming you have an offer just as good, you can keep that customer coming back for the 11 times, but you got to just be good about execution of your services or whatever you're offering at that point in time. But with that, you can actually then target your competitor's term and say, new customer special, get the first, visit is free. And you may say, well, that doesn't how can you do that? I can't afford to do that. But at the end of the day, if you understand that person is going to be coming back because you don't suck, it makes more sense to do that than go after a new prospect who's not already a loyal customer of your competitor, who's a big fish versus any random fish that comes through Google, which certainly probably will average less lifetime value than the person who's a loyal customer of your competitors already, so to say, or generally speaking, you can figure that. So we literally will have an ad like that. It'll say, new customer special, come in for free. And then once they come in, by the way, we give them another 50% off the second one. Then it's 50% off the third one. Because once they've came in 3 times, we've guaranteed ourselves that they've abandoned that competitor at that point in time because they've now built a habit. But when they get to the landing page and whatever was said on our ad, the golden rule is you say it on the landing page right away. Come in for free, new customer special. And you may ask, well, how do you stop people from abusing this? Here's our special secret for that. We actually force them to say, we'll give it to you for free if you are able to provide a receipt or other proof of you going to the competitor already. And if you can, the first visit is free. It's really that simple. And so if somebody just truly wants something for free because they don't find value in it, they're not going to go to the competitor just to get their free shit from you. You see? So that's the big brain idea that we came up with in the day spa space, where we had multi-locations to promote in a bunch of different cities and what we did there. And it worked extremely well to get not just new customers in, but highly valuable new customers along with that. So if you're going to target competitor searches, it can mainly be about getting your whale customers that you couldn't get through your normal means of getting customers through Google search ads itself. And you're able to get them because you have better bait than what they have, which is come back and spend whatever you spent last time. And for that matter, to get someone to switch over to you, they've got to have a damn good reason to do it because you're unknown, you're risky. And so what you do is you just try to do as best a job as you can to find out what the lifetime value of a customer is so you can offer as much as possible, because the more you offer, the easier it will be to get them to switch over. So for that matter, if the general formula that I follow is if I know that a customer will typically spend and do business with either us or the competitor at least 3 times, I'm going to not add the competitor names as a negative keyword, because the cost of getting that competitor's customer will be offset by what I'm going to make from that customer in the long run, and I'll go for it. Versus if I'm going to get a customer to like a one and done thing, on top of that, most people are calling about an order status. I'm not going to want to target that competitor traffic anymore because it's not likely to be profitable. So I could either have a high percentage, it could be a one and done, but a high percentage of the people who are going to call the competitor are calling about new business and I want it. Yes, I'll take it. Or it could be they don't call about new business a lot, but the value of a customer is so high, they spend on average at least 3 times with them at 3 different times. I'm going to still go after that competitor traffic. And so With that said, if you want to know how to set up these campaigns the right way, you should subscribe to this channel because I have all the information you need to do it correctly, the way that we use it to guarantee results for our clients at our firm. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to learn from the absolute best place online, somebody who's actively in the weeds doing the strategy on dozens of accounts on an ongoing basis, you want to subscribe to this channel. You furthermore want to check out my blog while you're at it. If you like the channel already, got a fantastic blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog where you can actually see the strategies I'm using for clients to guarantee their results with the screenshots, with all of it. I glean a whole bunch from that as well. So I encourage you to check that out as well. Most people who like the channel like the blog even more. Along with that as well, by the way, if you have any questions about anything I talked about here so far, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. But to kind of close this up, ultimately, as I've talked about it, as a whole on this video, in order to really take advantage of competitor traffic, you can't just show up like you're just targeting any other user. If you're going to do that, you're pretty much probably wasting your time, and you really should add all competitor terms as negative keywords. Because at the end of the day, yes, you might get some sales, but it's not going to be enough to offset the ad spend at the end of the day and make it profitable. So therefore, you won't do any of it. However, not in every case, but in most cases. However, you can almost always make money targeting the competitor traffic if either you could say yes to this first rule or the second rule that I gave you, and especially when you have a unique approach to get them as a customer. You're not winging it. You know what the person wants to see and hear, you give it to them, and now you have the customer versus saying what you say to everybody else, hey, come do business with us, and they don't have any compelling reason to do business with you because they were already going to go with the competitor, which they got a referral from the competitor, one of the other competitor's customers. Therefore, I have more loyalty to go with them than you. So you got to think about it from the consumer's perspective. Why the hell are they going to go with you unless you're going to make some sort of compelling offer or say why you're specifically better, or you're not appealing to who you're trying to market to. So, and for that matter, if you want to build this out the right way, you got more money than time, of course. If you don't want to watch this channel and learn how to do it yourself, this is what I do for clients all day at our firm. And you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com and I'll do it for you. And I can tell you exactly what we can guarantee for you in terms of results up front, which is what we do at our firm. We also sell ad templates. If we've already worked in your niche market, such as if you were the day spa space, we could sell you the winning funnels, everything I talked about here. And for one price, you're going to get the same results we did, and it's copy paste. Ultimately, we've worked in over 100 different niche markets, so the chances are quite high. You've gotten the results you're looking for, and you can make life so much easier on yourself as a result of that, getting your access to that template. We've got people that start other businesses up from scratch from the templates that we have. Given that we have a list of over 100 different niche market templates, they pick one, they install it in their business, and they build their business around the template, which is what most people don't do, whereas they start with the product and then they try to figure out how to sell it. Why not start with something that sells and then figure out execution around it? We've got people that have done that and been very successful at that. So anyway, if you are interested in our templates, you can reach out to me at my firm at guaranteedppc.com as well. If you're just looking for some quick one-off advice, ultimately, you want to do a private call with me. I've been doing that for about a year now. And on the private calls, I go over all of your stuff, your website, your pricing strategy, your sales strategy, all of it, and let you know where the bottleneck is in your business that's stopping you from getting to the next level with the ad profitability of your ad campaigns. A lot of you guys are oversimplifying things. You think it's the ad or, oh, where's the next ad we should run? Where should it run? And really you have an issue with your landing page or your tracking or something like that. And I can tell you where the bottleneck actually is. If you're interested in that, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. With that said, I pretty much said what I have to say about this. If people are calling for new business at your competitors, you want that traffic. If people are buying from your competitor many times over, you want to do what you can to get that competitor's customer. It's actually most of the time a better customer than you will get from a normal non-competitor search as a result, and therefore can justify paying more for that customer, a lot more in a lot of cases. So with that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Remember when I said negative keywords was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.